Number the woman he can't forget. He doesn't even realize it is happening until she has already changed him forever. There is a moment when a man's entire world shifts, not slowly, not over time, but in one single moment that changes everything. He realizes he is standing in front of someone completely different, someone he cannot predict, someone he cannot manipulate, someone who breaks all his usual patterns, and that scares him. Not because she is loud or aggressive or demanding, but because she has something rare in this noisy world, real, unshakable peace. The question isn't if men notice this kind of woman. They do. The real question is, what exactly are they feeling? What makes a woman unforgettable? Here is what most people get wrong. They think it is about how you look, what you say, or what you do. But the real answer goes deeper, much deeper. It is about who you actually are. This is the conversation that changes everything. If you see yourself in this, or if you are working to become this woman, everything changes from right now. Let me start with the most important quality, composure. Not coldness, not pretending you don't care. Real composure means you control your emotions. They don't control you. It means you understand that feelings give you information. They don't have to run your life. Most people react to everything. They get upset. They explode. They feel nervous. They chase reassurance. They feel insecure. They demand attention. This is how most people live. It is tiring. It is chaotic. It is normal. But a woman with real composure understands something most people never learn. She is not her emotions. She watches them. She observes them. She chooses how to respond. When a man meets this for the first time, it confuses him. He expects drama. He expects arguments and big reactions. He is ready for chaos because that is all he is known. But instead he finds calm, clear skies, peace. He tries to upset her. She stays calm. He brings confusion. She brings wings, clarity. He creates distance. She stays centered. Everything changes. Here is the science. When someone stays calm under stress, it changes the other person's nervous system. This is a real biological thing. The other person's body starts to feel safe instead of threatened. This isn't about attraction. It is about safety. It is about survival instinct recognizing peace. A woman with composure tells you something without saying a word. She shows you, I control myself. I don't let fear run me. I choose my actions. This is rare. This is powerful. In a world where people think loud emotions mean real passion and drama means love, calm becomes revolutionary. A woman who controls her emotions, instead of being controlled by them, becomes a mirror, and men see themselves in that mirror for the first time. He realizes, she is not reacting to me. She is responding from herself. People with big egos need to win fights. They need to prove they're right. They need constant approval. But a woman with composure is different. She lets time show what is true. She lets people reveal who they really are while she stays solid in who she is. That quiet strength changes him. He understands he cannot upset her, trick her, or control her with emotions. She is peaceful, not because she doesn't care. She is peaceful because she chose to master herself. Real strength doesn't yell. Real strength stays quiet and stays unmoved. Now, let's talk about something even deeper, something that changes. Attraction into real transformation. Depth. Depth isn't something you see. It isn't something you announce. It is something people feel. It lives beneath everything, beneath the noise, beneath what most people show on the surface. Depth is quiet power that makes a moment meaningful, a conversation important, a connection real. When a man meets a woman with true depth, something changes in him. It is not about wanting her. It is not excitement. It is not a rush. It is awakening. There is something, Carl Jung said, that matters here. Your vision will become clear only when you look into your own heart. Who looks outside dreams? Who looks inside awakens? This is what a woman with depth does. She wakes up something inside him that has been asleep. Depth means you understand things without being told. You hear what he is not saying in his voice. You see what he is, hiding in how he stands. You know when he is hurt, even though he says he is angry. You understand when he is scared, even though he acts tough. She doesn't judge his problems. She understands where they come from. She doesn't shame him. She tries to understand. She doesn't react badly. She seeks the truth. That is not just being nice. That is wisdom. That is real maturity. Men feel safe with this kind of woman because she doesn't turn what he tells her into a weapon. She uses it to build connection. A woman with depth asks real questions, not to test him, but to actually know him. She listens in a way that makes him feel heard for the first time in his life. She talks in a way that makes him actually listen. She asks him, "What do you really believe? What matters to you? What scares you? What do you want from your life?" Not to judge him, to understand him. And suddenly, he feels truly seen. Not for who he pretends to be, for who he really is. That is rare. That changes people. The deepest women aren't born deep. They earn it. They've been hurt. They've been disappointed. They've lost things. But instead of letting pain make them hard and cold, they let it teach them. They went inside themselves. They asked themselves hard questions. They rebuilt themselves. And because they did that work, they don't fear being imperfect. They want real, not fake. They want honest, not pretty. They want substance, not appearance. When she talks, her words mean something because they come from her real life, not from a book. Depth changes how every relationship feels. It slows everything down. It makes things real. When he is with her, he thinks more. He pays attention more. He is more aware. She teaches him to be better just by being herself. She doesn't say, "You need to change." She makes him want to become better. She becomes the mirror that shows him who he could be. And once he sees that, he can't unsee it. He can never go back to sleep. Here is something most people get wrong about boundaries. They think boundaries are walls. They're not. Boundaries are clarity, and clear thinking is rare in a confused world. When a man meets a woman with real boundaries, he feels something new. He has to take responsibility. He realizes quickly that excuses don't work here. Manipulation doesn't work here. Charm doesn't work here. She doesn't accept lies or inconsistency. Her boundaries speak before she ever opens her mouth. She doesn't announce her standards. You see them in how she moves, how she responds, how she removes herself from situations that don't respect her. She doesn't fight when someone shows her who they really are, she observes. She accepts it. She acts accordingly. When most people have a boundary crossed, they react with big emotions. She stays calm. She doesn't yell. She doesn't beg. She doesn't try to change who that person is. She simply steps back. She returns to herself. That quiet response isn't weak. It cuts. It tells the truth. It shows reality more clearly than any argument. Because when a woman who respects herself goes quiet, she is saying, I will not fight to be valued. I already know my worth. This changes him completely. He understands. If she leaves, it won't be because she didn't love me. It will be because I didn't step up. He realizes he cannot play games with her emotions because she lives by principles, not impulses. He cannot distance himself from her and expect her to fall apart. She doesn't crumble alone. She doesn't fear losing someone. She fears losing herself. That is why she walks away quietly when something hurts her peace, not to punish, not for revenge, but because she is wise. She knows energy is real. She knows disrespect doesn't fix itself. She knows love without respect is just dependency, not real love. A woman with boundaries acts like a filter without doing anything. A genuine man respects her boundaries. A man with bad intentions resents them. A man with character rises to meet them. A man with ego tries to destroy them. She doesn't explain herself to someone who won't listen. She doesn't justify what she needs. She doesn't ask permission to protect her own peace. She operates from truth, not pride, from strength, not fear. A woman with boundaries doesn't confuse good chemistry with real compatibility. She doesn't dream about potential. She watches what people actually do. She doesn't fall in love with words. She falls in love with who someone really is. She doesn't stay where she is barely tolerated. She only stays where she is truly valued. Independence is misunderstood. People think it means being cold, being separate from others, not wanting love. Wrong. Real independence means you are whole by yourself. You don't need anyone else to complete you. She doesn't need someone to fix her, rescue her, or tell her who to be. She chooses love because she wants it, not because she needs it. She is full on her own, and she shares that fullness with him. When a man meets a woman like this, he feels something he can't name. It is not fear. It is respect. It is knowing that she has something inside herself that can't be broken. She doesn't cling. She doesn't pursue. She doesn't chase. She attracts by being aligned, by having purpose, by being present. His biggest realization: she is with me not because she has to be. She is with me because she chooses me. That changes everything. He notices right away that she doesn't panic when he pulls away. She doesn't break when things are uncertain. She doesn't beg for reassurance because she knows reassurance that comes from pressure is empty and meaningless. She trusts the process. She trusts what is clear. She trusts herself. She knows that if something is right for her, it will never ask her to give up her dignity. She doesn't care about temporary excitement. She looks for consistency. She doesn't get fooled by pretty words. She watches what people actually do. There is a big difference between independence that comes from being hurt and independence that comes from healing. Hurt creates walls. Healing creates strength. Hurt pushes love away. Healing deepens it. She is not independent because she refuses to need anyone. She is independent because she refuses to abandon herself. She doesn't hold back affection to gain power. She gives freely, but wisely. Her independence makes her interesting because she is satisfied within herself. She is not waiting for someone to show up and give her purpose. She is creating purpose for herself. She is not hoping someone brings excitement. She makes her own joy. She is not looking for someone to complete her. She is already complete. This kind of woman changes the feeling of a relationship. She doesn't drain you. She lifts you up. She doesn't control things. She works together with you. She doesn't demand effort. She matches what you give. She doesn't break under hard times. She rises up. A man realizes quickly he can't be lazy with her. He can't be inconsistent or emotionally absent. She won't accept half love or half effort, not because she is difficult, but because she knows what she is worth. She knows what she brings: peace, wisdom, purpose, vision, strength. These things are rare. She won't let a relationship damage what she built over years. She shows that strength and softness aren't opposites. She has both. She can care about someone without losing herself. She can be gentle without being weak. She can be soft without being breakable. She can love without losing her freedom. She understands that real connection doesn't require losing yourself. It requires becoming more of yourself. When he finally gets it, when he realizes she chose him instead of needing him, everything shifts. The relationship becomes one of mutual respect, not control; trust, not worry; partnership, not dependence. Carl Jung said something important. I am not what happened to me. I am what I choose to become. She chose who she wants to be. She worked through her pain. She turned being alone into peace. She turned hard times into strength. And that strength is magnetic. It is quiet. It is steady. It is humbling. Because while most people chase love to escape being empty, she carries fullness within herself. She doesn't need a relationship to be whole. She only accepts relationships that respect that wholeness. When a man sees that, he understands she is not like other women. She is rare. She is whole. She is complete. And that is what makes her love the most valuable thing he could ever experience. Because her love doesn't come from fear. It comes from freedom. And love born from freedom is unforgettable. The last thing to understand might be the most powerful: softness. The world teaches us that power has to be loud, hard, and unyielding. That to earn respect, you have to be tough, guarded, untouchable. But a woman who went through hard times, healed herself, and became stronger knows something different. Softness is not weakness. Softness is mastery. Softness is power that comes from real wisdom. True softness isn't about being fragile. It is about being strong enough to stay soft. It is the softness of someone who could have become hard and bitter from pain, but chose to transform. Someone who could have closed her heart, but chose to deepen it. Someone who could have built walls, but chose to build real strength instead. A woman like this knows her gentleness is a gift. A woman who is truly soft doesn't need to prove herself. She doesn't need to be loud to be heard. She doesn't need to dominate to earn respect. Her power is in how she listens, how she understands, how she responds thoughtfully instead of reacting with emotion. When she talks, her voice is calm, grounded, thoughtful. That stillness affects people much more than aggression ever could. Softness means staying kind when it is easier to be mean, staying calm when chaos surrounds you, showing understanding when judgment is easier, holding compassion while still having boundaries. This is the highest level of emotional control. This is strength guided by grace. A woman who understands softness doesn't pretend life didn't hurt her. She has scars. She has been through things. She survived storms. She has felt heartbreak, disappointment, loss, and she survived. But she didn't let pain make her bitter. She let pain teach her. She didn't use suffering as a reason to close off. She used it as a reason to open up. That is why being around her feels different. It feels safe. It feels peaceful. It feels like finally being able to breathe. A man who meets a woman like this experiences something new. Peace. Aus os mindi. Without needing to perform. Acceptance. Without pressure. Space. Without judgment. She doesn't force him to reveal himself, but he does it anyway. Not because she demands it, but because she makes it safe. She doesn't criticize what he feels. She listens. She doesn't try to fix him. She understands. She doesn't make him feel weak for being human. She respects him for it. This kind of softness heals him. It wakes up a part of him that the world silenced. It brings back a version of himself forgot. It shows him that love doesn't have to be a battle. Connection doesn't have to be survival. Peace can be the deepest kind of intimacy, but her softness isn't something he can abuse. Because softness guided by self-respect never allows mistreatment. She can forgive, but she will never accept repeated disrespect. She can speak gently but firmly. She can walk away quietly but permanently. She understands that softness is not the opposite of strength. It is strength that is under control. Softness doesn't mean she has no emotions. It means her emotions work for her instead of against her. Softness doesn't mean she avoids problem. It means she handles problems with clarity instead of chaos. Softness doesn't mean she ignores hurt. It means she faces it with maturity. A man may be attracted to how she looks, but it is her softness that keeps him. The way she stays calm under pressure, the way she turns silence into understanding instead of punishment, the way she holds space for others without losing herself. The way every moment with her becomes something real. That energy stays with him long after she is gone. He connects her to peace, to depth, to healing, to truth. He thinks about her not because she demanded his attention, but because she earned his respect. He remembers her not because she performed, but because she was real. He realizes that the world is full of noise, but rare in quiet strength, full of attractive people, but rare in real connection, full of faces, but rare in presence. That is why he can't forget her, because she is the rare combination of strength and softness, discipline and compassion, boundaries and warmth. She is a woman who transforms everything she touches, not through force, but through grace, not through control, but through alignment, not through perfection, but through being real. She becomes the standard he didn't know existed. She becomes the mirror that shows him himself clearly. She becomes the awakening that changes him forever. She becomes unforgettable because she is not like other women. Not because she tries to be different, but because she did the inner work most people never do. She mastered her emotions. She healed what was broken. She honored her limits. She built her own strength. She protected her softness. And now her love is a gift, not a need. Her presence is a blessing, not a burden. Anyone who gets to be part of her world understands how special that is. Carl Jung said, "There is no coming to consciousness without pain." She walked through the fire and came out gold. If you are that woman, or if you are becoming her, never apologize for your depth, your standards, your softness, your peace. You are rare. You are powerful. You are needed. The right man will never try to diminish what makes you extraordinary. He will protect it. He will grow with it. He will rise to meet it. Because when a man truly understands this, when it finally clicks for him, he realizes losing her wouldn't be an accident. It would be the result of his own refusal to grow. You don't forget someone who taught you how to respect yourself. You don't forget someone who showed you what real connection requires. You don't forget a woman who has done the inner work most never do. She becomes the standard. She becomes the mirror. She becomes the awakening. And that changes everything.